Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, I'm KingNido, and today we're coming here from the Lentil region where the Neos are hosting the Verbank Plasma, and as they send out their starting lineup, let's have a look at that tail of the tape as the Neos have lost their last 4 games and they do not want to have a 5-game losing streak. They want to try and stay in contention for that victory road, whereas the Verbank Plasma are in 4th place. They are sitting in an Elite 4 position and they want to try and move themselves on top of the leaderboard. So with that said, let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win this matchup. Will it be the Delta types? Will it be the Poison types? Let's go!
3, 2, 1, go!
And it is going to be that Terrestrial draftee Brute Bonnet being joined by Toxtricity in its amped form starting out for the Verbank Plasma. It is Jolteon and Vaporeon starting out for the Lentil Neos. We have 2 electric types on the field. We'll see if they can surge, as it is going to be Jolteon with that speed control going for the Darkest Lariat onto its fellow electric type, getting some good damage, but Toxtricity does respond by setting up an Aqua Ring very early on. This could be very intelligent because it is surrounded by that Veil of Water, as Vaporeon goes for the Flying Press, which Brute Bonnet tanks heavily. That not very effective move, allowing Brute Bonnet to respond with the Psychic Fangs. A fantastic response, getting in some great damage as that Veil of Water begins to restore the health of Toxtricity. Jolteon is going to go for the Ice Shard, continuing to focus in on Toxtricity, offsetting that Veil of Water, who does respond with the Aqua Cutter onto its fellow electric type. Some great damage there, but Vaporeon with the Mega Kick, getting some more good damage onto Toxtricity as we get the Roost, from Brute Bonnet, not the Broost. It is going to restore itself back to full strength, and there is that health being restored of Toxtricity in the process as I try to maintain my composure. The Hammer Arm, though, from Jolteon, not very effective onto Toxtricity, lowering its speed in the process, but puts Toxtricity into knockout range, who responds with the round onto Jolteon. More good damage being done there as Vaporeon with the Slash onto Brute Bonnet, getting that critical hit as well. But Brute Bonnet, such a bulky Pokemon, is going to capitalize on its new poison typing, going with the Poison Sting to get the elimination of Jolteon. That may be the most powerful Poison Sting I have ever seen. And there is that health continuing to be restored of Toxtricity, taking it out of knockout range, as it is going to be Espeon coming out for the Lentil Neos with that type advantage as well, immediately going with the Sleep Powder. It is going to put Brute Bonnet to sleep now that it is no longer a grass type. Toxtricity now is going to go for the Fury attack. It does not want to have to deal with that Psychic type Espeon, who could do that super effective damage to the entire Verbank Plasma side. Well, except for a Alolan Muck and Overqwil. But Vaporeon with the Leaf Storm in response to eliminate Toxtricity. Not very effective, but effective enough to get the elimination, lowering that special attack of Vaporeon. In the process, it does level the playing field, which is great for the Neos. As we mentioned earlier, that 4-game losing streak, they don't want 5, as Brute Bonnet is still fast asleep on the field. It is going to be Glimmora coming out for the Verbank Plasma, but the Safeguard is set up now by Espeon, cloaking its side in that Mystical Veil, and we are going to have Glimmora with the Fury swipes this multi-hit move onto Vaporeon. If it can get all 5, that will end up doing a lot of damage here. It's got 3, will only get 3 connections. They still do add up, as Vaporeon is going to respond with the Bulk Up. It is going to boost that physical attack as well as that physical defense. It is more of a special attacker, however. As Brute Bonnet has awoken, it is going to go for the Rising Voltage onto Espeon. It would have been super effective on Vaporeon, as Espeon responds with the Syrup Bomb onto Glimmora. Gets in some good damage there, covering it in that sticky sand candy syrup, but it responds with the Dazzling Gleam, getting some good damage there on both of the Neos. But it is that Water Spout from Vaporeon, super effective onto Glimmora, but it doesn't actually do that much damage with that lowered special attack. Now the Wild Charge from Brute Bonnet to finish off Espeon. It will get a bit of recoil damage, but the Verbank Plasma have just taken back the lead with some good offense there. And it is now going to be Flareon coming out for the Lentil Neos. Glimmora now with that speed control immediately meets it with the Mean Look. This Fire-type evolution can no longer escape, not that it is looking to run anywhere. Instead, it is going to respond with the Razor Shell to get the elimination with that super effective move, but it has activated that Toxic Debris ability. Those Poison Spikes have been scattered on the side of the Lentil Neos, but Flareon has leveled the playing field, and we get the Side Shield Bash from Vaporeon, but that's going to be avoided by Brute Bonnet. That would have been super effective, allowing Brute Bonnet to respond with the the Frost Breath, this will not be very effective onto Flareon whatsoever, but it does get that critical hit for good measure, as now out comes Gengar for the Verbank Plasma, and immediately it is going to go for a Psy Shield bash of its own to put Vaporeon into knockout range, boosting its own defense in the process, but Vaporeon is going to respond with the Endeavor very intelligently, capitalizing on its own low health to bring Brute Bond into low health, and it's followed up by the Double Edge by Flareon to get the elimination. Brute Bond has been taken out of this matchup. The Lentinoes have just taken the lead, as Flareon will have a bit of recoil damage in the process, and there's that sunlight coming back out over the field, and it is going to be Overcoil coming out now for the Verbank Plasma as Gengar with the entrainment onto Vaporeon, and it will give it that cursed body ability, getting rid of that hydration. This could be questionable. You don't want to be struggling on the side of Plasma, but the low sweep from Overcool doesn't have to worry about it because it's just gotten the elimination of Vaporeon, leveling the playing field. The Barb Barrage from Flareon doing very little damage, not very effective there onto Gengar, and that Curse Body has been activated. Flareon is going to struggle as that safeguard fades away. Out comes Glaceon onto the side of the Lentinoes, landing in those toxic spikes. It is going to be poisoned. It will need to act fast, as Gengar with the Whirlwind immediately sends it back to the bench, and out in its place being dragged is Leafeon, who's also going to land in those toxic spikes. A very clever play there by Gengar, who is cackling away down on the field with that massive grin. Overcoil with the Shelter, it is going to be boosting that physical defense that is base 95, as Flareon now having to struggle. It will get that recoil damage as it does go for Gengar. And already we see that poisoning taking effect on Leafeon. Glaceon also with that poisoning back on the bench. The Water Pulse from Gengar onto Flareon, super effective, puts it into knockout range. Leafeon, however, is going to respond with the Overheat onto Gengar, putting it into knockout range, and it looks like it's avoided the Cursed Body, but it lowers its own special attack in the process. Overcoil with the Torment. They really want Flareon to be struggling down here on the field, but we know it is going to get that recoil damage here, as it has no moves left. It is going to go for the struggle, but it takes out Gengar as well. The one whose Cursed Body left it to struggle takes Gengar out. The Neos are in front, but that recoil damage immediately levels the playing field. Flareon has been eliminated. We know Glaceon is coming back out onto the field. We do not know who the remaining Pokemon for the Verbank Plasma is, as that poisoning is chipping away at Leafeon. It's going to be Tentacruel coming out for the Plasma. Glaceon returns to the field with that poisoning. Tentacruel with the Earthquake, connecting with everybody on the field. Super effective on its own teammate, but it actually didn't do that much damage to anybody on the field, allowing Leafeon to respond with the Hydro Cannon, but that is going to be avoided by Tentacruel. This allows Overcoil to try and capitalize by going with the Stockpile. It is going to boost that physical and special defense. We saw that physical defense already being boosted earlier on in this matchup, as well as Glaceon is going to go with the slash onto Tentacruel, getting a critical play there as well. Some awesome damage as that poison chipping away at the health of the two remaining Lentil Neos. And Tentacruel looking to follow it up, goes for the Stone Edge here onto Glaceon, super effective, puts it into knockout range. Leafeon needs to go for something, goes for the Heal Pulse. It's not going to heal its teammate though, it heals Tentacruel back to full strength. A massive error. The Wood Hammer by Overcoil is going to finish off Glaceon with another critical hit. The Verbank Plasma in front. Leafeon is all by itself, and it's just healed up Tentacruel, as Overcoil does get that little bit of recoil damage. Leafeon is feeling the effects of that poisoning. It is running out of time, as Tentacruel with the Play Rough almost puts it into knockout range. Leafeon, however, is able to respond with the Tail Slap. This multi-hit move, it needs to get all 5. It needs to get in as much damage as it possibly can, but it will not be enough, which means Overcoil will be able to capitalize after these 3 hits have landed. Overcoil with the Thrash, it only needs 1 to get the elimination. The Verbank Plasma have just given the Lentil Neos their 5th loss in a row. The Lentil Neos are running out of time to try and make victory road, whereas the Verbank Plasma have moved themselves up into 2nd place, 1 win shy of that top spot on the leaderboard. And next round they are going up against the Medali Aethers, whereas for the Neos, they are going up against the Veilstone Breakers, who have been on a losing streak of their own of late. So with that said, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field, and if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I'll see you when you see me.